This is the LIMINK Digital Microscope with 7-inch screen. Let's take it out of the box. In the box you get the user manual. They give you a remote control for it, which is convenient. Here is the base with its own 2 lights on it. This is part of the mounting system for it. Ring there. They give you a couple of USB cables, one USB to USB-C. This one here is USB to micro USB. You get a base for the scope. Over here is a micro HDMI to HDMI for connection to a larger screen. The scope itself with the 7-inch screen. This is part of the arm for it to allow it to raise and lower. I'm going to show you how all this goes together in a minute. A CD with software. Yes, you can download it if you don't have an optical drive. And there is a micrometer calibration ruler over there. We have a lot to do and a lot to put together. I'll give you some pointers as far as assembling it. So let's get right into that. So for assembly, this screws in here. So we'll just get that threaded in. There he is. Right in place there. And then we can tighten that in. There are 2 screws here. You unscrew. You don't have to take them out. Put the ring in there like that. The scope goes into that. And then we're going to mount that like that. Tighten the screws in the back, and that'll cinch that up. And then as you can see, you can turn that to lower or go back up. You can adjust this screw for the tension on it. If you have it too loose, it'll just fall right back to the bottom. Scope head screen rather is adjustable like that, and you can turn the whole thing left and right, but that is going to turn your image as well. That is the most of the assembly, just to give you an idea how it goes together. Let me get everything finished setting up and I'll show you what it can actually do. So brief rundown of the scope. We can power it on. Just hold the button for a couple of seconds there. It powers up, and you're not going to see anything right now until we put something under the scope. You can see, however, that there is a light there, and the brightness of that light is adjustable. There's a wheel on the side of the scope that can be adjusted, and we'll see that in some footage later on. The base of it, if you plug that in, has its own lights and can provide a lot more light, as you see right there, with its lights just like that, so you can shine that on the surface as well, depending on exactly what you need. I find that the light in the scope is usually more than sufficient for what is needed, and we're going to use this scale here. We're going to put it down, and just to show you a far away shot, and then of course I'll get you a much better shot of the image that this is going to, produce for you. Go right there. Now already you can see on the screen that that's pretty good. I'm going to just raise the scope back up for a bit, just so we can fit a lot more of this in frame, and then we can focus it. Now you do see these dots, and those happen to be the lights that are around it. So we can shut those, and now we have an image that is just with daylight. I don't know if these are going to help any. In fact, it did a bit. So you can kind of brighten the surface up as such by doing that. Let me see if I can move this so you can see there. And the kind of mottled background that you're seeing, that's just the metal there. So, you know, if you wanted to put, like, I'll take this because it's here. There you go, perfectly white. So just to give you the idea of that, that's the general idea. But like I said, there's other stuff that can be done. Now for the ladies out there that say, well, 7 inches simply is not enough, you can plug in the HDMI cable and have a much bigger screen. Really, the sky's the limit as far as that. Well, there's other limits, but you know, it'll do a 1080p signal to anything over HDMI. So whatever you want to plug it into, there you go. You want to capture on the computer? Well, you can sure do that. Not a problem at all. Hooks up via USB. Everything is right there. But another nice thing is the microscope has a lot of built-in stuff. So let's take a look more about that. So you can use the buttons on the remote right here to control it, which is convenient, or you can just use the buttons right on the screen there as well, and that will also do the trick. You do have a zoom function this way. So you can zoom in a little bit if that is needed. Another thing is, on the side, there is a slot that can accept a microSD or TF card up to 32 gigabytes. And this can record directly to that card for review later. This will record video up to 1080p resolution, and it can also take still images up to 10 megapixel. You have a focal range of about 2 to 10 centimeters, and you can end up with 10 to 1200x magnification. So really at this point, you've seen everything it can do, except for some good, you know, let's zoom in on stuff and see what that'll do. So I'm going to gather a few items here, and I'll put them in the scope, and I'm going to run the video that I'm going to record right from the scope right in here now. So here is some test footage that I had recorded using the microscope directly to the microSD card. Now what I'm doing is I'm zooming out a bit and back in, and this is a little bit of a learning process is what you're actually seeing here. I'm sort of experimenting with the scope, finding out how far I can go in and how the focus on it works. It's actually very, very simple. If it's out of focus, you just turn the orange ring, and of course you can get the scope closer for further magnification, or farther back if you need less magnification. And here is the next shot. This is an old piece of PC2100 DDR RAM. So we can take a look at the actual circuit board. We can clearly see the markings on the chip itself. You can also see the solder joints of all of the chips on there, in case you're going to be doing PCB repair. That's adjusting the lighting, whether it be on the scope or the base lights. So you can adjust that to get the very best picture that you're going to need. And we'll take a look at more of the board here. You can see the traces on it, and of course the edges of the board there where it interconnects with a PC motherboard. This here is a small cleaning brush as you see. So let's see how far in we can actually get with this here. This, of course, is a very jumbled mess because that's what bristles are. But you can see that we can clearly get the edges of each bristle very, very defined. And adding some light to the picture, we can go in even further, and you can see the little tiny pieces of dust you could never see with the naked eye using the LIMINK digital microscope. And over there is where the bristles connect with the head of the brush itself. I'll get a better shot of that in a moment. There we are right there, to give you the idea. And now we'll take a look at a United States quarter. This is a 1987 vintage, as you can tell. And we can get a lot closer here. So if you're a coin collector, you can see imperfections in the actual coin. Here's the back of it. You can clearly read the E pluribus unum that is on the back of the quarter there. And zooming in closer, I'll get that in focus in just a moment. Right there, you can see how it's actually formed. And now we're going to move over to a United States dime. Again, you can see all of the stamping of the coin in full detail without any issues whatsoever. And here is a penny. And we'll get some more magnification on that. And you can see this one actually has a defect just about dead center in the screen. I'm going to get a nice close shot of that so you can see. So if this were anything valuable as far as a coin collector goes, you would see that and know that this particular coin is marred and therefore wouldn't be quite as valuable as one in mint condition. So once again, this was the LIMINK digital microscope with 7-inch screen. Fantastic all around that it's a standalone unit. You want to hook it up to a computer, capture there, you got it. You want to hook it up to a really big screen with HDMI, you got it. You need light, you got light built in, you got lights on the stand, or the room lights sometimes do the trick. So you got plenty of light. Focus nice and easy with the ring there. Tilt the screen up and down. Nice, sharp, clear image each and every time. You can easily move the scope up and down with the thing in the back there like that. Super, super nice and really easy to operate, easy to understand, really just by playing around with it. So an excellent digital microscope all around from LIMINK. If you'd like to purchase this item, I'll leave a link in the video description where you can find this item available for sale on Amazon. Thanks for watching. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.